Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone SE 3 and compare it, actually the iPhone SE 2, the iPhone SE 2020 model, and compare it against the iPhone 7 Plus and see which specific iPhone you should go and pick up. Now, both these iPhones are very interesting. I don't think these would be the first iPhones I'd recommend buying, but the iPhone SE 2 I think is the better one in every single area, so you'd probably just buy this one overall. But the 7 Plus was a very impactful iPhone when I think it first came out too, so let's go and see how both these iPhones compare. If you want to pick up some phones I would recommend buying this year, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off side by side, you can definitely tell that both of these iPhones are very interesting and they do look kind of similar. The iPhone 7 Plus is a bigger phone. It has a 5.5-inch IPS panel on it, and I definitely do think it's a pretty decent looking phone still. I mean, of course, it looks a little bit dated, especially when you consider it the iPhone 14 Pros. But I think Apple did a decent job when this thing first came out. And although it still has, quite a bit of bezel, it's still an outdated type of design for the most part. It could have been worse, and I think Apple, for the most part, did a decent job. You have Touch ID 2 in the front, big bezel at the top, big bezel at the bottom. But I think regardless, it is what it is, and I think Apple's definitely improved on their design since then. But they didn't do it when the iPhone SE 2 came out in 2020. This phone has a smaller 4.7-inch panel, and I think it definitely looks good. I mean, it's definitely not a bad, ugly panel, but the phone itself it does look a little dated. I think we all know this by now. We have, bezel at the bottom, bezel at the top. You have the Touch ID sensor right here too, fingerprint sensor. You have basically almost the same type of design. You do have True Tone here though, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of like warms the display a little bit, and I do like it a lot. But definitely, I would say the SE2's display might be nicer, but the 7 Plus's display is also, 1080p versus 750p here. It's kind of another thing to keep in mind. In terms of thickness and thickness, kind of almost the same thing. Not really like a massive difference here either. I think both of these designs are very, very similar. But you can definitely tell that with the iPhone SE2, you are getting like a different styling to it, if you guys can tell. Sorry, it wasn't in the camera. You can kind of see, but it's definitely the same thing. Like, feels very similar. Lightning ports at the bottom. And on the back of both these phones, you are getting very different stylings as well. So with the iPhone SE2, you are getting the standard glass back. Has the Apple logo right here. Looks very good. I think it looks awesome. With the iPhone 7 Plus, you're getting this dual camera setup. So you're getting a wide and telephoto lens. The iPhone 7 Plus was the first iPhone to actually bring a dual camera setup, which is actually insane. A lot of people probably wouldn't even imagine that, but you are getting that type of capability on the 7 Plus, which is super nice. With the iPhone SE2, you're also getting wireless charging though, so keep that in mind. The 7 Plus, you are not getting that. But I think at the end of the day, both of these phones are more similar than not. Of course, the 7 Plus is a bigger phone that came out in 2016, but I think the iPhone SE2, for it being like 4 years newer, really didn't seem 4 years newer. I think it seemed a little maybe like 1 year newer, considering the iPhone SE2 is the same thing as the iPhone 8 for the most part, exterior wise. So that kind of covers it up there. Now, another big thing is basically with its software and longevity. This is probably the biggest problem with the iPhone 7 Plus. This phone is pretty much unsupported with software. So this thing is not going to be getting any more software updates, which is kind of annoying. I feel like this thing could have ended up getting software support for a little bit longer. But again, what are you going to do? There's nothing we can do about it now. I do think things are going to change in the future though. Who knows? But I do think when it comes down to it, Apple's done a great job with their current software versions, making them last a lot longer. We'll see what happens here, but I do think for the most part, Apple is probably not going to be supporting this phone anymore. I mean, it's going to be getting iOS 15 updates. The iPhone SE2, on the other hand, I feel like is still going to be here. It's going to match pretty much in line with the iPhone 11. So this one and the iPhone 7 Plus, it's just so completely different. The SE2 is definitely going to outlast the 7 Plus. It already has. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between these two phones. The 7 Plus has that Apple A10 Fusion chip inside of it, 3 gigabytes of RAM. With the iPhone SE2 has that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, perfect. All the apps are cleared out in the background, so let's get into it. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go do music, which I don't even have. App Store 3, 2, 1. And of course, we have 2 different pop-ups. Let's go and scroll through here. Let's see which one's the faster one. I don't really think there's going to be that big of a difference here. Okay, let's go and hop out of these two. Let's go and get into another one. Let's go and do mail 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go and hop out of these two. Let's go do clock 3, 2, 1. Okay, how about out of here? Let's go into the calendar. Let's skip that. Let's do camera. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Let's go hop out of here. Let's go into their Photos app. 3, 2, 1. I think the 7 Plus was faster there. Hopping out of here. Let's go into another one. Let's try Genshin Impact. 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's a big game, so it could take a little bit of time. Okay, the iPhone SE2 was faster there. iPhone 7 Plus, a little bit slower. Not the end of the world, but still something to keep in mind. Let's go and try one of these other applications. Let's try Snapchat. 3, 2, 1. Okay, iPhone SE2 was the faster one there. Let's go and try Stack. 3, 2, 1. Okay, iPhone SE2, I think it was the faster one, at least to load up into that ad. Let's go and try Temple Run. 2, 3, 2, 1. And it looks like the 7 Plus loaded up the panel faster, but I think the SE2 might be the faster one, and it is. But it is weird how sometimes the 7 Plus loads into the panel faster, but this SE2 beats it in the overall score. I think it's kind of an interesting dynamic they have there. Okay, so we can clearly see, and it glitched up a lot when it actually went into the game itself. So I think that kind of covers that up. I think we kind of get the idea. The iPhone SE2, I think, is the faster one pretty much every single time. Sometimes it looks like the 7 Plus may be faster, but then it isn't. So it's always like kind of a weird push and pull there. But for the most part, the iPhone SE2 is clearly the faster one for the most part. So that kind of covers it up there. Now, in the camera department, you're definitely getting, as I mentioned for many years now, the 7 Plus is a very interesting phone because it comes with a dual camera setup when compared to the single camera iPhones, things like the iPhone SE2, even the original iPhone SE, or even the iPhone XR. It's always weird because you are getting an extra feature built into the iPhone SE2, to the iPhone 7 Plus with that telephoto lens, but you are still getting portrait mode here on the iPhone SE2, 4K on the back, 4K at 60 on the back of the iPhone SE2. You're getting 1080p on the front of the iPhone SE2 as well, which is nice. With the iPhone 7 Plus camera, I think this thing it's good. You're getting portrait mode, which is nice. And I do think Apple did a decent job on this thing, which is always nice. And I think this was a pretty impactful iPhone camera. So you're getting 10x zoom, which is important, standard 1x zoom. You're getting standard portrait mode as well. Not the best camera in the world anymore, but I do think it's probably one of the more impactful iPhone cameras pretty much Apple's ever made. Now, with the iPhone SE2, I think this camera is better. I think it's better quality, but it's not really a better camera, I would say. It's a newer kind of sensor. If you look at the 7 Plus, it's an older one. The iPhone 8 had a better one. This one pretty much stems from the iPhone 8. Not like a big jump though by any means, but having portrait mode is nice. And with photo mode, I mean, you're just getting standard zooming in, not anything insane, but again, I think it kind of gets the job done for the most part. So to kind of sum up this video, what I'll tell you is I definitely do think the iPhone SE2 is probably the better phone. And this is the one that makes the most amount of sense to me. And if I were to go and buy a device, it would probably be this one. There's not really a whole lot of other phones that I would recommend buying. Even the iPhone SE2, I wouldn't really recommend buying either. I would recommend buying like an iPhone 11 at the very least. But these two, I mean, this one's the better one. The 7 Plus is an older phone. It's not supported anymore. It doesn't make any sense to buy this one. But I wouldn't recommend buying either one of these. I'd probably recommend buying the iPhone 11, iPhone XR, to be honest. Probably avoid these ones. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.